Hello, thank you. So as Drew mentioned, I have this podcast about love. So I've always kind of had this obsession with love. I started at a really early age. I remember when my mom picked me up for the first day of preschool, and she was like, "How was your day?" The first words out of my mouth were, "I met a girl named Sarah Connolly, and I'm going to marry her." And then the next day, my mom found Sarah's mom and was like, "Guess what Bryan told me? He's gonna marry Sarah." And I was just like, just mortified. And right in front of Sarah, told this whole thing, like my whole dream was shattered. I couldn't talk to Sarah anymore. And I feel like the proper lesson out of that scenario is like maybe don't fall for people like on the first day of meeting them. But the lesson I took from it was like never tell my mom about my crushes because she will ruin them. I had these like classroom crushes for years through elementary school. And then by the time I got to middle school, that sort of felt like that first age where, I had a few friends that were like, "Oh, I got a girlfriend." And like, at that age, there's not much going on, but you're still like, it's an exciting thing to have a girlfriend. And my crush at that time was Kelsey. And Kelsey, we were in the same English class together. And we sat at like the same pod of tables, and our main way of flirting with each other was goofing off in class. Like it was so fun to make Kelsey laugh. Like we'd be like doing vocab, and I would like spell the words wrong to get a reaction from her, or like when we'd read out loud, I would read in a funny voice. And the teacher would like yell at me, which was it was like this weird thing because I wanted to be a good student in class, but I got like drunk on Kelsey's laughter. And so I just like really was falling for her very quickly through the first few weeks of school and didn't really know what to do about it. Because again, I'm in 6th grade and I don't actually know how to ask a girl out. But the universe intervened because there was a 6th grade dance at the end of November. And I overheard Kelsey telling one of her friends that like, "Oh, I'm going to go to this dance." And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to go to this dance, and this is going to be our moment." And so I asked my parents if I can go to this dance, and I do not mention anything about Kelsey because I've learned my lesson. But my parents say I can go, and my mom brings me and one of my friends to the dance and drops us off. It's at the school cafeteria that they've cleared all the lunch tables out. And we walk in to the dance, and there is just like all the girls at the dance are just like in a corner by themselves, and we do not see any other boys in the cafeteria. And I like notice Kelsey's there, but I can't see anybody else that's a boy. And then I hear this commotion coming from across the hallway in the gym, and my friend and I walk over, and all the boys are playing a game of dodgeball in the gym. Because I think we're all so terrified of like facing the girls that it's all just gone into like testosterone and chucking balls at each other. And so I join in because I'm equally terrified from facing like my reality of Kelsey in the cafeteria. And it's like very fun, but I'm very torn. And at one point I like go to get a drink of water, and I look through the window of the cafeteria and I see Kelsey there. Like all the girls are just kind of hanging out together and I think having an okay time, but I think at a certain point the teachers shut down the gym to make us all like face our fears in the cafeteria. And so we wander in, and there's not a lot of time left in this dance, and I know I need to like make my move and like ask Kelsey to dance, but there's all these upbeat songs, and I don't know how to upbeat dance, and I barely know how to slow dance, but it feels closer to what I can handle. And then NSYNC's "God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You" comes on, and it's a slow dance song, right? And so I know this is my moment. I see Kelsey, she's got this beautiful polka dot blue and white dress, and I go up to her and I'm like, hey, do you want to dance? And she's like, yeah, like very excited, and has kind of probably been waiting for me the whole night the way she said yes. But I'm like, great, we got this. And we start slow dancing, and I put my hands on her hips, and we're swaying to the song, and it feels like this perfect moment. And that was the last song of the night. So I go home, and I feel like I have this victory, and I remember waking up the next morning, and I had like the feeling of her between my hands like still there. There was like this phantom slow dance in my hands still. And I show up to school on Monday, and I really don't know like how to bridge what just happened to the next step of whatever this is. But at the end of the school day, she comes up to my locker, and we're making small talk. And then we go walk to the buses, and she holds my hand. And so every day that week, at the end of the school day, she comes to my locker, and we hold hands as we walk to the buses. And it's this incredible week. And at the end of the week, she comes up to me, and she's like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And like, yeah, we're like a week away from winter break, and I didn't think that like a gift was something that I was immediately gonna have to do in this relationship. And I don't know what I want, but she's like, "Oh, I asked her like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "Well, I really want the Charlie's Angels soundtrack." Like Charlie's Angels had just come out. And I'm like, "Cool." And then in my head, I'm like, well, a CD seems like a good gift. And I'm like, well, Kryptonite by Three Doors Down is a popular song right now. I'm like, yeah, the Three Doors Down CD, I'll have that. Like, I didn't want it, but I just felt like I had to say something because, like, to me, the gift was Kelsey. Like, I had the gift I already wanted, right? But now I have this, like, mission to get this CD, and I can't go to my parents and be like, "Hey, can we go to the mall so I could buy this CD?" Because they'd ask too many questions, and I'd have to tell them about Kelsey, and they'd ruin it. But I have this secret weapon because a few weeks before, my parents made an eBay account so I could buy Ocean's 11 on DVD because it was my favorite movie at the time. And I had bought it on the DVD, and their credit card was on there. And so I found Charlie's Angels on eBay. I bought it, and I said, "Oh, Mom, I bought another DVD. Like, here's the $10 for it." And so that week, I'm waiting every day because, I have a week until winter break happens, and then that's it. And I have to get this present in by then. And so every day, Kelsey and I are holding hands to the bus. And then I'm rushing home and opening the mailbox, and it's not there. And it's Monday, it's not there. Tuesday, it's not there. Wednesday, it's not there. And I know if it's not there on Thursday, then I'm not going to have a present to bring on Friday. And I rush home, and I open the mailbox, and there's that padded envelope there. And I'm so excited, and I bring it home. And I rip open the envelope, and I pull out the CD, and the jewel case is shattered. And I don't know what to do. Because I've run out of time and I've run out of resources, and I have to open the plastic up to make sure the CD is still like intact, and it is. And so I'm kind of like, well, it's still functional. Like, it is still an operational gift. She wanted the soundtrack. She will still be able to play the soundtrack. And so I do my best to wrap it up, and I show up at school the next day, and she is at my locker first thing in the morning with her wrapped CD for me, so excited to give it to me. And I just opened it. Like, I truly didn't even want the CD to begin with, but now I have to, like, feign, like, oh, cool, yeah, just what I wanted. But she's just waiting for me to give her the gift she wanted. And I hand it to her, and she opens it up, and I can't say anything, and I just see her face, like, drop at this shattered case. And all I can say is, like, "I'm sorry." And the bell rings, and we have to, like, wander off to our classes. And so the whole day I'm stressing. Like, I don't know how to come back from this. And I'm at the lunchroom, and I'm eating lunch by myself. And I'm just like, what do I do? How do I make this better? Like, maybe English class, we'll just laugh, and this will be a fun joke, and we'll be okay again. And as I'm, like, thinking about what I'm going to say to her in English class, I hear this commotion from the other side of the cafeteria. And there's, like, this, ooh, whoa, and I look, and people are just crowded around this lunch table that I know is Kelsey's lunch table. And at a certain point, the crowd parts, and I see Kelsey just holding this huge, oversized stuffed teddy bear. And I'm confused, like, my brain isn't catching up to what's happening, but then I see her stand up and hug Alex Rios. And Alex Rios was, like, the cool sports kid in our class. And somehow he had had this idea to buy her this stuffed teddy bear, which she loved. And I was kind of pissed for two reasons, because we were in the same English class. Like, he knew that we were dating for 2 weeks. Like, we were going steady. But also, like, I was kind of pissed at Kelsey because, like, if she had told me she wanted a giant stuffed teddy bear, like, I could have gotten her that. Like, it felt like he had found the better gift, even though I got the thing she asked for. And anyway, I got to English class, and all I could do was I took off my sweatshirt, and I just hid in it the entire class. We were supposed to read, and I just hid in the sweatshirt. And that's when it dawned on me that I could have just taken any other CD case in my collection and switched out the cover, and it would have been fine. But I get to my locker at the end of the school day, and Kelsey comes up to me, and she's like, hey, so Alex and I are dating now. And I can't say anything, and she's just like, yeah, you know, I've liked him for a while, but we're dating. And then he's waiting right there, and then she grabs his hand, and they walk off to the bus together. And so, yeah, that was probably like my first heartbreak in life. And as I walked to the bus, I threw the Three Doors Down CD out in the trash. And I feel like I won in the end because I didn't have to deal with that CD anymore, because I think the rest of the songs on it were garbage. Thank you very much.
Bryan Berlin, everyone.